Hello and welcome to the Mall Street Journal, the podcast that brings you all the latest news and reviews for all things American rugby. We are part of the Global Gainline Network and can be found on all your usual platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. So if you haven't already, give us a like or a subscribe, tell a couple of friends about us, or just write a nice little note on a plane ticket to England with a World Cup final ticket attached and pop it in my mailbox. Yep, that's 3 weeks in a row that's what I've used. I'm sticking to it. I'm holding out hope. It's maybe. This is, of course, episode 11. You may recall that I'm David Lawrence. I'm joined, as always, by the full squad. Coming to us from San Antonio is Kolya. Kolya, how you doing this evening?
Better than I was all weekend. Was sick.
Ah, you sound better.
Yeah.
Glad you're feeling
this
better.
I'm sorry?
Glad you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we all might have felt a little bit sick this weekend. So for our opening question this weekend, we're going with, what non-rugby podcast are you listening to this week?
So I'm listening to something called Winds of Change, which is a podcast following the dissolution of the British Empire. Right now they're doing a series on the breakup of India, and it's really interesting.
I thought you were going to say a section on hiring of Eddie Jones.
No, just the partition. Just the partition of India.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
Less groundbreaking.
Just the lead up to the partition.
You know.
Of course, also joining us from Vacation Land, it's Julia. Julia, how the heck are you doing?
Oh my gosh, it's sunny, it's warm. We have so much ocean here. It's great. I'm doing very well. Unfortunately, my home region still occupied, doing all right. You know, there's rugby abound. I'm surviving.
And what non-rugby podcast are you listening to this week?
So mine is equally as nerdy. I'm a longtime fan of The Illusionist with Helen Zaltzman. I'm cheaping out using it. It's one I've been listening to for years. I think it's one of the longest running in that. I wish now I remembered what that group of podcasts was called. But it is a linguist. I think she is kind of like a socio-etymologist by trade. But it's about all things that intersect with words and with language, including social issues, learning about endangered languages, which is one of the things that I'm very interested in outside of rugby. Yeah, and you know, they're short, they're little bites. It's very nice, but it always leaves you feeling either, you know, or hopeful in some way, and I really appreciate that, and it's very needed right
now. Non-rugby, I've been listening to a lot of Here Comes the Guillotine, just because I love Frankie Boyle so much.
Absolutely.
And the episode that I listened to today, it's again nerdy. It's almost like he just suddenly spontaneously went into a master class about what comedy writing is like and how you're supposed to approach it. And I'm immediately talking to my partner about it, like, oh, he said this and he said this, and she's like, yeah, that means he studied Shakespeare. Those are things you do in Shakespeare. And but also, the Guess the Lines podcast is back on, like, the Ringer podcast with the Bill Simmons one they does every year for football. It's very strange because I'm not watching football anymore, and I don't gamble. But my absolute favorite podcast is Guess the Lines every single week. I'm obsessed.
That absolutely surprises me. I did not expect that. I expected it to be on me and Kolya level, to be honest. I mean, you still had one that was the Frankie Boy was pretty.
Yeah,
but you had to regain your cool. Yeah, you regained your cool. And also, I mean, we would be remiss not, you are a New Englander. I think you kind of
had to regain my cool? What? Okay, our tradition is to start with some news. We usually toss it over to Kolya. Any news come across your desk this week?
Not much, other than Japan absolutely slaughtered Canada over the weekend.
Yes.
Which not looking great for the US coming up.
No.
I wondered if that was the direction you were going, but
yeah.
That was a shot right across the bow. Julia, any news crossing your desk this week?
No, I don't know if anybody's heard anything. There's a World Cup going on.
Oh, I have a tidbit. It's not North American, but South American rugby, where Uruguay beat Chile this weekend in Santiago, 28-16. So they're going to have one more match this coming weekend. That one's going to be in Montevideo. So that means Uruguay have a 12-point advantage heading into that one, and that is for the South America one qualification slot. So things are falling into place very quickly all around us.
I mean, it's really great news. We really want to see development in South America. We know what they're capable of. They're our nearest competitors. The better they get, the better we'll get by playing against them. So
It's true.
I love to hear any progress in that direction.
It could be that Chile is on our slate coming, depending on how things go. Anyway, it was, shall we say, an intense weekend in American rugby. Our Eagles were in action at the World Cup for their biggest contest in at least 3 years. It was do or die, or perhaps, as we found out, a third option against the the hot-firing Wallaroos, who demolished Samoa in round one. I'm sorry, I almost always sort of immediately throw it to y'all here, but I need to rant a bit because I'm kind of pissed. Like,
Please.
somehow, at the time as we're watching, the narrative was, oh wow, what a great result! The USA, they still have a shot. It sets up a must-win final round. It's so exciting, and even the comms went so far as to say, oh, I guess the coaches got the message down to the field that a draw is perfectly acceptable here. And so even in that moment, I was completely, like as Malcolm X would have said, hoodwinked, because kicking in that ball into touch was not our way of salvaging our chances. It was the end of our World Cup. If we beat Samoa by 60 this weekend, and I don't think this team has a 60-point performance in the near future, and Australia lose to England by 70, we're still 6 points away from advancing to the knockout stages. This was an exciting match. It was an intense match, but in the end, our doom was writ large on the walls of the community stadium in New York, and I am still pretty crushed. Kolya, rant over. There's a lot to unpack from this weekend. Where do you want to start?
I want to talk about the difference between our first and second halves.
Mm.
Because our first half, we were not firing at all. Hawkins had some kind of boneheaded plays, and we went in at the half five, or having scored five, and the other team with 14. Meanwhile, we end up winning the second half, so to speak,
Yep.
and drawing the thing. What was the difference there between those two halves? Because Australia didn't change anything, and it didn't look like we changed anything
Did
that
the
I
conditions get
noticed.
better? It was a pretty greasy ball at the beginning. Julia, thoughts?
I'm ready. I just have a whole thing, so I wasn't
Okay.
going to burst in. So I completely agree that first of all, it was a game of two halves. Absolutely. I What I really appreciate about our setup that we have is that Kolya always is able to take just a tactical breakdown, which I appreciate because I'm generally looking at who is playing well, how each are playing, perhaps how we could optimize that sort of thing. And so it's interesting. In a spark of good timing, I recorded Women's Rugby Treehouse earlier today, and the mood about this game was completely different.
Hmm.
But I knew that this was how it would be. And I was excited to come because I feel that we get to kind of give more of obviously, we get to give a USA rugby perspective, an American rugby, people who are trained in American rugby, used to watching it. We get to give it that kind of perspective. And I agree. Um, I, I'm disappointed by the lack of firing, the misfiring of the first round. I want to shout out, there were a few really great performances. Sagapolu had a great performance. Obviously, Tafuna had a great performance. I'd also like to say I'm very excited to say Lona had a great game. This is exactly what we wanted to see.
I put a little prompt in for you for that later because I was so amazed to hear you mention that in our chat this week. I was like, oh, got to put that aside.
Absolutely. I'm happy to say it. This is exactly what we wanted to see. And honestly, I'm happy to be able to point to this because this is exactly what we've been talking about the whole time. When she understands the best way that she can use the skills that she has, which is really just what you take from learning more about 15s the same way you do about sevens. I wouldn't know that much about sevens. She would completely school me. This is exactly what we wanted to see. She used herself and her positioning usually the way that you want. Obviously, there was one dumb penalty, whatever, that happens. Not the point. Yes, yes, there were some dumb things conceded by several people. Unfortunately, I'm glad Kolya said it. I didn't want to because I am such a Mackenzie Hawkins fan as a person. I don't think it's the right place right now. It pains me to say I'm really happy to see that Gabby Cantorna is back. My Julia's hot take that I am allowed to because it's our podcast. My Julia's hot take is Gabby Cantorna should be at 10. I understand that we only have one game left. Probably. On Women's Rugby Treehouse, everybody was very confident that USA would go through, and they think that this could actually happen. They really do think that England is going to absolutely decimate Australia, and they think that we might put a triple-digit hurt on Samoa. I'm not there. I don't know about that. I think ultimately the PD will lessen by a lot, but I don't think it will be it. But that said, the overarching kind of thing that I heard was that like we kind of America'd it. We came out in the second half and we like showed magic. Like that's what we do. And our other sports teams are the same way. We always pull something out. And what I heard from two people who have no reason to be nice to me for no reason, was that USA came out looking like they wanted it more. And I have to agree with that. Especially because I hate to say it, but it's completely honest. When you compare the stats, just regular rugby stats, our turnovers, our possession percentage, penalties, conceded, handling errors, almost all of them, Australia came out looking better. When I my gut reaction when I'm asked like how did it happen was I was just like, yeah, like that's Kate Zachary's USA team. Like we pull it out. I think that it was pulling it out. I think that we squeaked away with a draw. I think since all the other math, unfortunately, like doesn't really matter. I think if somebody else had been at the tee, this would be different. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. I'm such a big Mackenzie Hawkins fan. If Gabby Cantorna were at the tee, I think it would have been different.
That first one, not her fault.
No, the first one was
it just feels snake
bullshit, but
yes,
right. And yeah. And so
well,
like
I don't know.
It really looked like she was completely in her head the first half.
That was my thing, was like, I do like, sure, the tea thing was absolutely not her fault. However, some other decisions that were completely within her control were her decision. And that was where those were some moments. Oh, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention one more thing. For folks who asked, because several people reached out over different media and asked. Kelter was a tactical decision not to be in. There's a Rugby Pass article. If you look it up, you will find it. We can't link it. I've tried linking on YouTube and it deletes it. There is an article if you're curious. We were also later confirmed after the match below Matai Tonga is out injured for the rest. Tess Fury will be coming in for Samoa. We kind of know how that one is going to go, but I'm excited. I love Tess. I'm glad she's here. But that said,
so that was the very next thing on my list. We were all kind of the day of the match leading up to it. We were all like, wait a second. No Lev. Kolya,
I think that it was foolish.
Did that make the difference? Could she have saved this game for us?
I don't think so, because where we had our biggest issues weren't places where she would have fixed it. Right. Because our biggest issues were miscommunications on Australian line-out ball.
Yeah.
On the set piece, we really could have capitalized more, and that's why it went like it's nice that other people were like, you guys really capitalized on some errors. Like, okay, but the ones that we really could have, we didn't, and I feel like that was obvious.
Yeah, but on another note, what a game.
Still, we bring the show. We are box office. We don't often get to be one of the two teams in a game that everybody is talking about all week. And I'm not going to lie, it feels kind of nice. Everyone's just like, did you see the game? Like, yeah. Right?
Almost
USA
always
Rugby is fun to watch.
Almost always if I hear a USA chant anywhere, I'm like, oh God. This time I was like, oh, okay.
It was mostly English people,
this.
which I loved. That they were just like, let's go. Because if it's you versus Australia, you're our favorite colony.
So I don't know about you all, but I listened to some Aussie rugby podcasts too. They seemed pretty shaken up after this one. The main comments I was hearing was
Absolutely.
where Alona was incredible, the American pack was dominant, and they
Yeah.
seemed surprised that the Eagles didn't win this game, as was I.
Yeah.
Um, but they also seemed to feel quite hard done by from the officials. Kolya, do you want to talk about the officiating at all? Or did that kind of hang on your radar?
There wasn't much from the officiating that I wanted to bring up.
I
They
had
Yeah,
no
I
problem with
was
the
sur-
officiating.
Yeah,
I was
there
surprised.
there were some iffy calls, but they all or
There
it's
always
all
are.
said that it evens out over the course of a match, and this one really did.
Yeah, this one
It
was fine.
it wasn't, or there were a couple weirds or iffy scrum things, but
Mm.
Yeah.
also Australia engaged early on every lineout. So
Yeah.
If an official does have a bad game, there's usually several times when you can really hear the stadium getting on them about
Yeah.
it, and
yes,
like,
yes.
and this there were some reactions from the crowd to calls, but it was more like just genuine disappointment, like, oh, I
Just
can't
I
believe
didn't
that went
like
that
that.
way,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
not a booing and stuff.
Now
Yeah.
now speaking of the lineout, did any of you pick up on our calls?
Oh no.
Because
Did,
this was weird, and we were, or it seemed that we were making our lineout calls with hand signals. About midway through the first half, I started calling all of our lineouts before they happened.
really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was weird. Like, it was really, really easy to figure out what we were going to do.
Is that a backup plan when the stadium is really loud?
Mm, maybe, but
It's a bad plan if so.
yes, yes.
Couldn't we get the coach on the roof with like stoplights and stuff?
Mhm.
That's probably against the rules.
Glad to be signaling up from there. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, and I'm like right at the place where I'm like, oh, all right. I mean,
So we already kind of teased it. Julia, you hinted you had some nice things to say about Alona's performance this weekend. Fire away.
I do. Yeah. It's just what I had said before. I didn't know I was gonna go on a whole thing. Um, okay. So it was what I had said earlier. I'm really happy with the field reading this time around. I think that she found a lot of opportunities for and she did exactly what she is there to do, which is cause those turnovers. I was very happy with her reading the field. She knew where she needed to be and she hit those times. Those were crucial turnovers. It was a piece of a larger attack that I feel was more concerted than we had seen. I don't go so far as to say that I feel like we're there yet. Especially when you compare us to I'm sorry to say, but when we play Canada a lot, there's a lot of ways that we could develop towards that. We aren't there yet, but I see like sparks of being able to put together those kind of innovative plays, which is
Mm,
great. I feel like that is how we are going to progress in the current rugby hegemony. I think this match speaks to um our ability to, for lack of a better term, ad lib um and improvise when it counts. I think was how we pulled what we did. I understand that we all thought that that would have been a win and that we expected it at some points, but you kind of knew a bit ways through the second half
mm.
that that's not how it was going to go. Um, and I understand the pundits coming out and saying, I guess you decided that drawing was okay. I think the draw flatters us. With what we ended up playing, I agree that playing what was in front of us was absolutely our strength. But there are a lot of
I
things
thought
up on. I keep thinking about it just as we just talked about it, but the set pieces I have more criticism for than I do praise.
I thought Koulibaly was kind of invisible, which surprised me. Was that a result of game
I
plan?
felt I
Is
felt like
it
that was a lot a product of the Australian defense. The Australian defense was quite
yeah,
functional.
their defense was
A
really
wing
good.
the wings get swallowed up. It sucks, but it's true.
Yes,
What did he?
sometimes it's centers, sometimes it's wing. Particularly, like when Koulibaly got the ball, she looked dangerous,
Mm,
and I did find it
It's
kind
exactly
of
what we wanted.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And just for our foreign listeners, when I say early engaged at the line out, what I'm talking about is they were taking about a step and a half into the tunnel
The early
for
engaged.
every line out. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just looking at our lineups from that day.
Yeah.
What's the verdict on Henrik at 12?
I mean, I am always a Henrich fan. I think she did fantastically there too. She is truly, I believe, one of our most versatile backs. She really can play between 11 and 15. I think at a stretch she could probably play 10 as well. I would be surprised if I don't see her trying a little bit at Tigers probably.
Yeah.
Um
I did feel she played better once she moved out to the wing, though.
I think
Yeah.
it's where she's most comfortable.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and
Um,
fair enough.
What?
And I mean, it's also worth mentioning there was also the broader shuffle already because of Meta Tonga being out.
Yes,
Sharp moving to 15. I agree that it was better out by the wing, but I feel like it could have been made just a little bit better by just her and Lottie switching. Just let her go
yes,
to
yes.
15 and we'll be done.
I agree, especially as that seemed to cause some of our miscommunication in
Exactly.
defense.
And it was
Which,
and it was backfield reading that
yes,
I
yes,
thought that was just full
yeah,
miscommunication.
yeah. But
I mean,
I was quite happy with Tafuna,
Mm,
new
very,
American hero.
what a game. 100% player of the match. No question.
Yes, yes,
definitely. And did you see the interview afterwards?
Yeah.
She was
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I love it. I like whatever. I love so many rugby teams and I love talking about so many of them. But man, we're fun to cheer for, man.
Yeah.
We got characters.
Mhm.
Uh, I feel like we should talk about the Australian side. They had some amazing performances. Piper Duck was huge.
Absolutely.
And
Caitlin House,
but I'm
18. That's
Yes.
insane.
insane. And Desi Miller, oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Desi had a game. Fantastic
Oof.
for her. I'm thrilled. And especially coming off the long injury that she had come off of. That
Yeah.
makes me so happy, especially if you are a crossover 7s15s fan. You will definitely know Desi, and it makes me so happy.
We probably will never in our lifetimes have an answer for Eva Carpani.
Very few teams will. I think that I mean, no, not every team gets to have Sarah Byrne either. Not every team
That's
gets to
true.
have Eva Carpani. No, she's one
Mm.
of those, I think. I think she's relatively for definitely for a prop, she's early in her career comparatively. Especially now that we're looking at Hope, who's just like, I'm not sure I'm gonna retire yet. Like, yeah, you are, but you can absolutely play till your late 30s, and with her trajectory, it's fun to be it's fun to be a front row fan.
Either of you have final thoughts on this game?
Again, despite the result, it was a really, really fun match. I've had people who don't follow rugby talk to me about it. Like
Hmm,
I had some of
that's good.
my seventh graders today talking about the game.
Really?
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
just to their friends, just talking about the game. That was fun.
That's good. That's really subtle sucking up by them. That's great.
I was gonna say I have
Yes,
an Australian
yes.
client and he was talking to me about it too, but it's because I was like, it's because he knows I'm a rugby fan, and I was like,
Yeah.
or he wants my business.
Mhm.
Who knows?
um, what are we looking forward to next week? Actually, let me start with the philosophical question first, because we just kind of touched on it. We were in our group chat, we've been saying, oh, an exciting game like this, it's good for rugby. Our pod, one of the things we're trying to do is grow the game in America. And we've seen some amazing matches already in these first two rounds and some compelling, incredibly likable teams. It's a great product. But if America go and then crash out and come back home, is that really gonna are people gonna be like, oh wow, yay, American rugby? Or are they gonna go, oh, we suck at this?
I don't think that the latter will be the case personally. I don't think that we're going to look at this. So yes, absolutely. If you're coming from sevens and you don't know that much about the 15s world at all, this is a harsh one to come into. But if you are a 15s ball knower and you're a USA fan at all, you know that we don't think we're going to win this World Cup. And I don't say that in a defeatist way. We know that we are in a growing phase right now. We on this pod have talked about it a lot. Absolutely, we were targeting this one. Luckily, we're in a position where the person who's close, or the team that is closest to us to going forward, has the toughest match of their pool. We have the easiest match of our pool. You know, kismet if you want. If there were ever a time to claw back, we are with the wind at our back.
If England
you know,
go up three scores really fast on Australia, they're going to start to sweat, and then that fear is going to creep in.
You're
That would be
right.
nice.
And so here's the thing is that there's always a chance that Australia won't get that BP. And if we do start racking them up against Samoa, which we really could, I mean, other teams that I would say are on our level, we're racking up. So Australia included. I don't know. I don't think that this would discourage people who really want to be here for the right reasons. We know that this is a year that is, we aimed for it, but it's developmental. Sorry. It's not an insult to say that we are looking towards the next one, because we know that we are in a transitional period, which we are. We have a new coach. We have more structure than we have had in prior World Cups. We have had our own disruptions. The pandemic happened. There are all sorts of things. I don't think anybody who wants to be here is going to be turned away by this.
Yeah. What I also think is important is that the fans who seem to be coming in for watching this World Cup are not the kind you get with, say, watching the American soccer or men's soccer World Cup every year or every 4 years, who, if we don't win the World Cup, which we won't, will go crazy and say, oh, we should never even play soccer. The entire sport is communist, something like that. It's
And I wish it was communist.
Yeah. Yeah, you laugh, but I've actually heard that.
Oh, I know. Oh, absolutely. And by the way, and so there is a benefit. I say it on Women's Rugby Treehouse a lot. There is a benefit for this podcast. I am with two men. You are very lucky that they have not said that this podcast is woke. Because when you get three women together, your podcast is woke.
It's automatically, yeah.
Immediately woke.
Yes.
Do we talk about peeing on Margaret Thatcher's grave? Yes. That's not the woke part.
No. That's perfectly acceptable in modern society.
Thank you.
Yes, but I don't see many of the American football style people leaning on to or glomming on to women's rugby right now. What I'm seeing what I'm seeing right now are newer fans. What I'm seeing right now.
That's good.
I'm seeing a lot of crossover from women's soccer too. Which is fantastic.
That's what I was about to say.
Yep.
I'm seeing things from like the NWSL.
It's fantastic. I saw so many Washington Spirit shirts at the Fiji USA game. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
They were like, I don't have a rugby shirt, but this kiss counts, right? I was like, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bar in San Antonio, and I was going to bring this up for the Grassroots, who did a watch party, and it wasn't the like soccer bar, it was the Gaelic football bar.
Ah, nice.
They are doing the watch party for women's rugby.
Love it.
Cool. And I bet, David, if you do get to go out again and go be a party animal in Boston, I bet you will find some stuff.
I wonder. It's even hard to look those things up.
I bet Ireland women have a watch bar.
I do know one place that has rugby memorabilia on the walls, and I was like, oh, but they're primarily a
fireman bar.
It's a hurling bar.
Oh, okay. We have one as well here in Old Town Alexandria. It is mostly a fireman bar or a fireperson bar. Um, woke rugby. Fireperson bar. And then it becomes rugby bar when anything is happening, including the women's rugby. I drove past the other
Nice.
day. Yeah, I drove past the other day, and they have a big women Ireland women's poster. And I was like, not even.
Wow.
I was like, dog, not even. And then they were like, it's chill. I saw they had USA rugby. Like, it was fine.
Well, oh, by the way, you mentioned the accusations of
Drawdown Brewing has a watch party.
There you go.
where,
What was
where is
it?
it?
Drawdown Brewing in Boston.
I'm looking it up right now. Drawdown Brewing.
Wall Street
But
Journal, pod fans, this Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember when Ireland is playing. David at Drawdown Bar in Boston, Massachusetts.
I
He
can
will be
guarantee you,
there. He will be there, and he will want to engage you.
except I'm secretly getting
I
my
was gonna
son to watch
say,
more and more of this with
yeah,
me,
you probably
and
want to hang
I
out with
can't.
your son.
Yeah, I can't bring him to the bar, so
Yeah.
it's
I mean, you
it's starting to
can.
work.
Just people have
Yes,
comments about it.
people will just judge you.
Just have
Um,
comments. I'm trying to get my
well,
kid into rugby, not alcohol.
they'll be like, "We understand,and here's a beer for him."
Okay. Okay, here's a beer for the child. Sam Adams for the kid?
When you mentioned, accusations of woke just a
Yes,
minute ago,
please.
Squidge had me on his World Cup retrospective at one point, and he
Did
mentioned
you
how,
do a Switch retrospective?
I
What
did,
game
I
did
did
you do?
for the USA versus Samoa. Yeah, and
Women's World Cup?
no.
Oh,
This
men's.
was
Okay.
this was pretty early on in the
Yeah.
creation, so they hadn't done any of the women's stuff yet.
Oh,
But
okay. I was
we are
on
naturally,
folks who are fans of my opinions, which is not a lot. I did the USA Kazakhstan women's.
and we're great. Squidge was clearly ecstatic with your performance, but as naturally, we ended up talking about the woke army, and I had mentioned something about
Yes.
the irony is, imagine what a terrible army the woke army would be. We're all like
Oh
wearing
my God.
Birkenstocks. There's a guy with a guitar, but he's not very
Everybody is the
good.
same rank.
Yeah, you
I
can't order
I
me,
I
man.
don't remember which improv troupe that I love or sketch troupe rather did it, but there's a comedy sketch that I love where there is a business that is incredibly feminist and incredibly woke, and everybody is a vice president. Good. Women are like that. We be vice presidenting.
I think there's even a show. So I just want to take a moment to remind all of you that liking and subscribing is the best way to help us grow. If you could, tell a friend or two, that would be smashing. We are part of the Global Gainline Network, and you know what? We're generally lovely people as well. In fact, I'm pleased to mention, so the last couple of weeks we've mentioned hoping to get to 500 subscribers. Just checked this morning, it was close to 540. So thank you to everyone who's been tuning in. It's really gratifying to see the show grow, despite the lack of growth in Eagles rugby. Uh, each week we try to find some grassroots news. Kolya, that you kind of already did your bit, eh?
Yes. So for the last match of the World Cup, there were watch parties in several different states, several different cities. I believe that they're going to do the same this time. And then another teeny tiny bit of stuff is the San Antonio women's rugby team, the Riveters, had a booth out at the Pacific and Fiji little heritage festival here in San Antonio this past weekend.
Oh, thank you for the tip about this bar. So they're opening at 8:30 in the morning for USA versus Samoa.
Yeah,
That's right.
They are serious.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right.
Julia, no grassroots for you. Focusing on the World Cup.
Yeah, focusing on the World Cup. I looked around. Our local teams aren't doing too much. They are also having a watch party, and I didn't think that we were going to come to me for this, so I didn't copy it down. What I'm going to do is give it to you, or I'm going to tweet it myself from the podcast account.
Great.
That'd be good.
Lovely. So as I said, where I am, it'll be 8:30 in the morning for USA versus Samoa. Is this? I have so many questions. Is this that?
I think
coaching
USA
hot
is
seat
going.
moment.
I think USA is going to attempt to nuke Samoa from space. Like, I really do worry that they are going to try to beat them into it.
Is
Yes.
Coach Fukafuka nervous for his job right now, though? Is this the moment where he goes back
No.
to the original
No.
lineup, or is this when he makes 9 changes just to?
No, this is where he puts together his favorite 15. This is
Yeah.
where he goes, this is the team that I think would drive this team into the ground. In my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is one of those hard matches to coach.
Mm.
When you
Absolutely.
know that you are so much better than the other team, and you know
But you
that
also
there's
don't want to, yeah.
yes, and you know that there's a point differential you need to get rid of.
Exactly.
It is so hard to coach that.
Mm.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not so simple. Again, this is an 80-minute game, and it's an attritional game by nature. It's not necessarily you take your 15 biggest warriors and just throw them out. It's not going to work. You still need to play a system. You still need to play the game. They know how to play the game. This isn't against children. It's hard to
Well,
coach.
we got to get in our predictions. I do like doing the head, heart, and arse
Let's
that
do
we
it.
kind of set up. Either of you want to go first?
I need to think.
Head says 72 to 5.
That was head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Heart says about 105 to nothing. Or we'll give Samoa a try somehow.
Mm.
And then the other 30 to 5.
Mm. I think I'm in that range too. Julia?
Yeah, all of that sounds really, really reasonable. Honestly, mine are not different. 82.5, 82.10, 82.10. We love to fuck around. Heart, what a 5-0. Ours. $35.10.
Mm. Yeah, so my heart is even. I don't want to nil them because I do like Samoa, and I don't want to see the looks on their faces at the end of a game of getting
Absolutely.
nilled. But that means I would prefer we got more like 120 for some, for some space. But yeah, giving them a try. But my head, I don't see us getting a big, huge score. I think we're going to beat them, but I think it's hard for this team to score a lot of points. Like, I almost think 48 is like would be a wow kind of performance for
I will
us.
not be surprised if you're right. I could absolutely see that happening.
And same thing for the arse version, 28 to 5, 28-7, something like that. Like anything that would just
Just
by
low
the
on
way,
our end, though, not that we let in a bunch.
when is England Australia? Ours is first thing in the morning on Saturday.
It is our time, 12 p.m. Saturday.
Okay, so we
So
will have
5 p.m.
set.
UK.
So we will have done as much as
They
we
get
can,
yeah,
and
they
we'll
get
know
the
what the
evening
number
off.
is
Yes.
that we're looking out for.
And then
Yep.
hopefully we have a good result to go into Saturday night.
Yes.
That would help. It wouldn't hurt.
Okay. Any last thoughts before we call a full lid?
Go Eagles.
Oh, by the way, Julia, did you notice the PWR is back the week before Halloween? I see your Bears don't play until the next weekend. Didn't that happen last year as well?
Yeah, it's weird that the Bears always have the bye the first week.
Yeah.
But I don't have an
Oh,
answer for you, so I'm gonna skip this.
maybe Alona needs an extra week on the beach.
She's not coming back to Bears.
I wanted to see if I could trigger you with that, but uh,
Why? We had such a good day, David. Call the lid.
I know, but we did a bunch of positive Alona stuff, so.
Oh my God, you're just trying to get me canceled. I already did that earlier on my other podcast. Check out
Oh,
Women's Rugby Treehouse, also on Global Gangland.
I can't wait to listen. And by the way, Hattie was great on the rap this week too.
Fantastic. I will let her know. She was worried that she yapped too much. A common woman worry.
Not at all.
I agree.
As always, thanks to Lee, Hugh, and all the folks at the Wrap. Thanks to all of you for coming along and watching or listening. We are on YouTube. We're on the usual platforms for audio pods. And as I said, we just bypassed 536, I think was the number on YouTube. So if you help out by spreading the word, that would be phenomenal. Thank you again to everyone for joining us. Do us a favor and share with a friend. Until next time, all of us, from all of us, cheers. Thanks to you all, and be well.